All right, folks, we are back, and welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show on our election coverage tonight of the Indiana primary. As CNN, all the networks have basically said that Donald Trump has won the state of Indiana. It's just a question of how much, and it's been pretty consistent throughout now with 9% of the vote reporting. Donald Trump has 54%, Cruz 34%, John Kasich 9%. On the Democrat side, much tighter, Hillary 52%, Bernie Sanders 48%. Joining us right now to continue our conversation, and we'll take your phone calls as well, is Michael Reagan, Newsmax Contributor, president of the Reagan Legacy Foundation, author of the great book, Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan. Michael, welcome back. You were just sitting here in the studio across from me the other day. Good to talk to you again, sir.
Oh, yeah, I'm back out in California now, but it was great being with you the other day.
It was so great to see you. Let me ask you this. Here we have an apparent, as predicted, landslide victory by Donald Trump. If that's the case, would you advise, or hope at least, that Ted Cruz would say, that's it, we're done, let's support the presumptive nominee and let's end this and beat Hillary?
Well, they're going to have to take a lot of time and effort to be able to unify the party. And if that's what we need to do, and we certainly need to do that to win in November, I think it is time for the others to go by the wayside, support the nominee of the party, and move forward. It's interesting, all these people are talking about my father, the great Ronald Reagan. I wish we had him back. Well, Ronald Reagan always supported the nominee of the party. Will these people, in fact, also go out and support the nominee of the party? Because that's the only way Donald Trump is going to win.
To that point, yesterday I had Bill Kristol, the founder and editor of the Weekly Standard, ABC News contributor, and he made news. This was all over the place. Drudge, Breitbart, you name it, of course, most prominently at Newsmax, but everybody picked it up. And I asked him, because he was the Never Trump. He's like the head of the Never Trump movement. And I asked him if he could ever see himself changing that. Here's some of what he said. And there are things Trump can do to win you over?
For me, it's more of a matter of character, and I don't know that you can change your character at age 69, and given the things he said even very recently about other people and the way he demeans other people. But I mean, I guess never say never. On the one hand, I'll say never Trump, and on the other hand, I'll say never, but never say never, and I'll leave it.
Okay, fair enough. So, he's pushing this third-party candidate idea, which, if that were to come to fruition, Michael, would split the vote and be in a Ross Perot-like fashion, enable another Clinton to win with 42% of the vote.
That would be absolutely silly and disastrous. The fact is that Donald Trump does have a lot of mea culpas to do, a lot of them, in order to bring people together. One of the big mea culpas he's got to have is towards the women who are out there, because 75% of the women, in fact, are not supportive of Donald Trump. And many of those women are, in fact, in the Republican Party. I was talking to somebody earlier today. I said, I know a lot of men who are on the fence or are going to back, Donald Trump, but I know a lot of their wives who are going to cancel their votes. Donald Trump's got to find a way to bring them to the table, and that's a mea culpa.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the phones. Your chance, folks, not only to talk to me, but to the great Michael Reagan at 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629. First up, we go to Florida and say hello to, actually, Hudson, Florida, and say hello to Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
How you doing today?
Good, thank you.
I'm gonna teach you guys a heck of a lot about politics today, and I wish I was that guy that had Ted Cruz come up to him, because the first thing I would have said, well, the first thing out of your mouth is a lie, because when he said that Donald said to the New York editorial board that he wasn't going to build the wall, that was a lie, because the tapes haven't been released. So the first thing out of his mouth was a lie. So if the guy was smart enough, and he wasn't a smart Trump supporter, but he tried his best. Second off, I want to, actually, a little bit nervous, believe it or not.
No, hey, you know what? Here's what you do. Hey, Mike, when, I've been doing talk radio for over 30 years. Take a deep breath. You're talking on the phone. Nobody's listening but you and me, and in this case, Michael Reagan. So it's just the three of us. Take a deep breath and don't worry about it.
Okay. Now, the other thing that Michael Reagan said, that 75% of women are against Donald Trump. Well, is that all women or Republican women? First off, 50% are going to be against him all the time because they're Democrats and they'll never vote for him. So people got to put those polls into text. He's actually got to win back 25% of the women that are on the Republican side that are going to vote. So it's not that big of a thing to overcome.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to step
All
away.
right, Mike, let Michael Reagan respond.
For somebody who's been working with Republican women since 1966, I pretty well know the pulse of Republican women and where they're going to go with these issues. And he's got a big hill to climb to bring the Republican women in. He also has a large hill to climb to bring the Hispanics to the table, to have them vote for Donald Trump on election day. You can't just win with a bunch of white guys out there. You've got to have an inclusive party in order to win on election day in November, and that's what he's got to do.
Well, let me ask you this question then. Out of the polls that of the Democrat men, and I understand you can't win with white men. I understand that. It's growing smaller in population and whatnot. But out of the Democratic men, how many of them are secretly saying, there's no way in heck I'm going to vote for Hillary Clinton and I'm going to cross over and vote? People don't.
That's all right. Let Michael address that, Mike. That's a good question.
I've written op-ed pieces about this. Republicans or conservatives spend more time trying to find a way not to support their candidate than liberals have ever done. Liberals come together in the end. Conservatives, what you should be worried about, the conservatives staying home on election day and not voting for the top of the ticket, or if they go to the polls, not voting for the top of the ticket, but voting for the bottom part of the ticket.
Yep.
That's what conservatives might do on election day. Donald Trump can't afford to do that.
Yep. Mike, thank you. Mike, I got to go. Thank you very much. By the way, at last count, Donald Trump has won 33 of the state's delegates. There are 57 up for grabs. I'm sure he'll be adding much more to that total. Let's go to Omaha, Nebraska, and say hello to Brenda. Brenda, you're on with Michael Reagan and Steve Malzberg. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Michael Raymond. Hey, I voted for your father for the first time when I was able to vote. I loved your father. But I will tell you, Trump played it well today. He knew by talking about the newspaper and his father would unhinge him, and that's exactly what happened. That's why I said to myself that Cruz is crazy, and Trump just did what he had to do to show that he is crazy. And women will vote for Trump. I will vote Trump all the way.
All right, Brenda.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I want to tell you one more thing. That I was talking to my son, asking him why so many young people think the way they do and why they're voting the way they do. So I asked him, do you know what a Chad is? He had absolutely no clue what a Chad was. So I says, well, if you think about it, the reason why they can't get the polls right is because this ain't the days of the Chad. This is instant information, the internet. We can look at everything. We can look at everybody, and we don't
and I
have
think
to
I
listen
think
to
this is the
Brenda,
first
let Michael respond.
I think this is the first election, or at least primaries, that in fact are run by social media, talk radio, and cable television. I think this is what you are seeing play out in the long run. By the way, my wife's from Atkinson, Nebraska, and my in-laws live there in Omaha, Nebraska, so I'm back there quite a bit. And it was my father-in-law, who was a lifelong Democrat, who in fact changed and voted Republican for my father, and the next day changed back to being a Democrat because he didn't want people in Nebraska to know he switched.
Great story. Brenda, thank you very much. Michael, let me just ask you real quick here. We know that Cruz, hooked on with Carly as his VP pick. If it becomes apparent, as it will after tonight, that Donald's on his way, when should he make his pick? Should he wait till the convention as is traditional, or do it, sooner?
Oh, Donald Trump?
Yeah.
I think you wait till the convention to be able to do that. You've got to have something that's going to surprise the delegates and keep the people in the room.
Right.
You've got to be able to do that. So wait till the convention at that point. And John Kasich might be a great move. You do need Ohio. In fact, if you want to win the presidency of the United States, Democrats
it
know
goes
that,
through Ohio.
and
That's
Republicans
true.
know it.
That's true. Michael, thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Michael Reagan, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're coming back with your calls in the Malzberg panel. John Zogby and Jim Hoft, and we'll get their primary predictions and more. Don't go away.